Hello and welcome back. This is lesson number 2. In this lesson, we'll be looking at minor key triads. In the last lesson, we looked at major keys and we looked at inverting triads within major keys. Now this time we'll look at minor keys and we'll see that they offer us up some new types of chords. Now we can do the exact same thing that we did with the major keys in a minor key, although things are slightly more complicated somewhat by the fact that there are 3 slightly different minor scales. We have the natural, the harmonic and the melodic minor scale. Now coming into this course, you should already be familiar with your major scales and minor scales, and you should definitely be familiar with your intervals. However, I'm going to give you a quick overview of the minor scales. So like I said, there are 3 minor scales. The melodic is the one that's most similar to our normal major scale. Then we have the harmonic scale, which has 2 alterations to it. And then we have the natural minor scale, which is the most different one and has 3 alterations to it. So we'll start by going through the major scale, the normal major scale. The example will be in the key of E. So my E major scale would be E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and then E. Okay, that's the normal major scale and everyone should know that. Now the minor scale will begin with the melodic minor scale. Now this one only has 1 alteration. As you can already anticipate, it's going to be the minor third. The major third becomes a minor third, hence why it's a minor scale. So we have E, F sharp, G is our minor third instead of G sharp, right? Then the rest is exactly the same. A, B, C sharp, D sharp, then E. The next one is a harmonic minor scale. Now the harmonic minor scale has a special home in my heart because when I was doing the ABRSM classical training, I went with harmonic minor scale. We had to choose, and so I first learned the minor scale and just stuck with me ever since. The minor scale has 2 alterations, so we have the E, F sharp, then G of course, which is our minor third. Then we have A, B, and instead of C sharp we have C, and then we have D sharp and then E. Now lastly, the natural minor scale has 3 alterations to it. So we have E, F sharp, and the minor third of course G. That's always included. That's one thing that's in all minor scales. Then we have A, B, C, D. So we have that 3rd alteration there. And then we have E. Okay. So with that quick overview out the way, let's now look at the minor triads in a minor key. Also notice that we get 1 new type of triad, the augmented triad, which has a major third and an augmented 5th. Okay, let's start by looking at the melodic minor scale. So the first note here in the melodic minor scale, we'll do this in the key of E, is E. And the notes are E, G, B. This is minor. This is the first one. The second one is F sharp, A, C sharp. This is also minor. And then after that we have G, B, and then D sharp. Now this is major. However, look at where the 5th is. Normally we would have G, B, and then D, but we've raised the D so that it's in line within the scale of E minor. And remember, this is the melodic minor, so it has a D sharp. Now with this note here, we call this augmented. So when we raise it, we call it augmented. If we bring it down, we'll call it diminished. Okay. So when we raise this D up, it becomes the augmented 5th. That means this major chord, it's the new type of major chord. It has the fundamental tone, a major third, and an augmented 5th. It's still major. Okay. So we still give it a capital M sign, and in the Roman numerals would have capital 3 I's to indicate that this is the 3rd and it's major, but it's augmented. So we'd also add a plus sign to it. Okay, we'd add that plus sign. That plus sign tells us that this is augmented, and that plus sign is telling us that we have a raised 5th. Okay. The other shorthand way of writing augmented is AUG. So let's carry on. So the 4th note in this scale is going to be A, and that's A, C sharp, E. This is your standard major chord. Then at the 5th we have B, D sharp, and we also have F sharp. Again, another standard major chord on the 5th. Notice the 4th is major and the 5th is also major in this minor scale. And then we have the diminished chord, which is going to be C sharp, E, and then G. That's our diminished chord. And then we move forward onto the 7th one, which is going to be D sharp, F sharp, and then A. Again, another diminished. So we have two diminished in this chord. And lastly, we have E, which is back to the top. E, G, and B. Okay, so now let's look at the harmonic minor scale. Now with the harmonic minor scale, it begins the exact same way as the melodic minor scale with E, G, B, which is minor on the 1. The second one is F sharp, A, and then a natural C. Now this is diminished because we have two minor thirds stacked. We have C, F sharp to A, that's a minor third, and then A to C, that's a minor third stacked on top of that. So we have two minor thirds, that's giving us a diminished, and this is on our second. Now on the third chord, we have the augmented fifth again. We have G, B, and then we have D sharp. Okay, so again, we give it capital M because it's major, but then we have the plus sign if it's the Roman numerals, or if it's G, we just say G plus, which would indicate that this is augmented. We have the erased fifth. Now next to this, on the fourth one, we have a minor chord. Okay, we have A, we have C, and then we have E, which is a normal minor chord. That's on the fourth one. And then on the fifth, we have major, which is going to be a B major chord, which is B, D sharp, and then F sharp. Now on the sixth, we have a major chord as well. We have C major. Notice on the fifth, we had B major. And now on the sixth, we have C major, which is C, E, G. And the last one here is going to be a diminished chord right here on the seventh. So D sharp, F sharp, A, that's diminished. And then lastly, we back at the beginning. So we have a minor chord, which is E, G, B. Okay, lastly, let's look at the natural minor scale. This is one with three alterations to it, three differences. Now the first chord is going to be exactly the same as the others. We have E, G, then B. Okay, this is our standard minor chord, that's on 1. The second one is going to be diminished because we have F sharp, we have A, and then we have C. That gives us a diminished chord on the second here. Okay, and then on the third we have major because we have G, B, and then D, gives us a major chord. On the fourth we have a minor chord, A, C, E, it's minor. On the fifth we have another minor chord, which is a B minor chord, B, D, F sharp. On the sixth we have a major chord, a C major chord, just like we did in the harmonic minor scale. Then on the seventh we have a major chord. Now notice again, because of the alteration here, we're going to have a D major chord, D, F sharp, and then A. And then lastly we're back at the minor chord, which is the 1, which is E, G, and then B. Okay, so to sum things up, triads are formed by stacking a third and a fifth above each note of a major or minor scale. There are 4 types or qualities of triads: major, minor, diminished, and augmented. These 4 qualities result from different combinations of thirds and fifths. So the types of thirds we use are major thirds and minor thirds, and fifths can be perfect fifths, diminished fifths, or augmented fifths, as we've seen. So now quickly summarize. If we have a major third, so we have a fundamental tone, then we have a major third. If we have a perfect fifth above that, then we always get a major triad. If we have an augmented fifth, that means we're raising the fifth. That means we get an augmented triad. Now if we have a minor third, so a fundamental tone, then a minor third, then we add a perfect fifth, we get a minor triad. However, if we have a fundamental tone, a minor third, and a diminished fifth, then we get a diminished triad. Okay, now I want you to notice that a combination of a major third and a diminished fifth never occurs when making triads out of major and minor scales. There is no name for it, except maybe you might want to call it a major triad plus a lowered fifth. And then also notice that the combination of having a minor third and an augmented fifth also never occurs. Then this becomes a different triad altogether.